Shabbat shalom to everyone. It is a joy to be here with my clergy colleagues, with Heidi, with Andy, and with all of you who are here to join us. I have always believed that Shabbat is the soul of our prayerful Jewish experience, and we are delighted to dwell with you in virtual sacred space this evening. Last week, I, like many of you, was able to honor our Independence Day by watching Hamilton. That number, one last time, quotes from our prophet Micah. And it has a particular resonance for those who identify themselves as part of our American Jewish community, where Washington shared in a letter to the Jewish community of Rhode Island and said the following: "May the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid." These words have never been one of certain promise, but they've been one of hope. On Shabbat, we hope for a taste of the world redeemed. But in truth, it's our own footwork which enables us to create and foster such a world as we hope and as the prophet Micah prophesied. So as we meditate on the words of Washington on this Shabbat, reflective of our Independence Day this past week, we can reach into our hearts and open them up to recall our gratitudes in this moment, to remind us of our blessings, and to say Shabbat shalom with authenticity, with beauty to one another. I invite you in your household to take a few moments to turn to one another, if you have others with you, to say Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. I invite you to text someone, perhaps during our service, to share a Shabbat message. And to be in this moment where we take a pause and a breath from the runnings around of the week to focus on those intentions that we have and the gratitudes that we know we can reflect upon. The Kabbalat Shabbat, the receiving of Shabbat, is the entrance into our time together. And so we begin the Huna Ranana, come let us sing joyously. Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, sing unto God a new song. Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, we join together. Kabbalistics give us an image of a bride, a kala, coming through the wheat fields in Sfat in the north of Israel. That image of this bride is Shabbat. L'chadodi likrat kala, come my beloved, as we greet together the Sabbath bride.
Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha, ishmi'anu el hameyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet ve'letila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orech, kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha, u'v'tzahala, toch emunei, am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
As we have risen to welcome the Sabbath bride, we remain standing in mind, body, and spirit as we turn our intentions eastward toward Jerusalem, as we call each other to prayer with Baruch Hu. praise God for God's creation as we join together in the English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Kumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam ahavat olam. Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. Ahavat olam,
Beit Yisrael,
Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
As we think about the freedoms that are ours, we are grateful for this country, and we want it to continue. So we join together, praying responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate that power that makes for freedom. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ותקדנו בעצה טובה השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ,
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. As we prepare for our tefillah, our silent prayer, we ask for help. Some of us have been praying all our lives, and some of us just started last year. And still, each time we ask for the Creator to help us to say the right words, to help us with our feelings, and to praise. If you're able, please rise as we join together. Adonai Sefatai Tivtach Ufi Agit Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imateinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim,
וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה אותי אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הצל. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי אותי ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Grant us great peace, O God. This is one of your most precious gifts.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov einecha nevarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha
Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, v'Yevarech et acholim. May the one who blessed all of our ancestors bless those who are ill and in need of healing. We remember to pray for others every day, every week. Perhaps also today we will remember to pray for ourselves. We are all in need of some kind of healing. In our community today, we are thinking about Norman Berman, Leslie Fathman, Sebastian Ferron, Denise Garrick, Stephen Gould, Laura Haberman, Ellen Hutt, Robert Ilko, Heidi Krantz, Nessa Bat Yosefa Shoshana, Patty Peters, Jerry Sampson, Rhonda Schwartz, Maxine Trimble and Gerald Trimble, Linda Valfer and Fred Valfer, Sabina Wallach, Rodney Washington, and George Wise. Please share the names of those for whom you are praying with your families, and we remember them and their healing with love.
Ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say
Shabbat shalom. In recent days, I've been reflecting on a TED Talk by Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. He called his talk, Facing the Future Without Fear, Together. He acknowledged that many of us feel a sense of fear of the future. And this was back in 2017, when words we knew took on different meanings. Social distancing meant removing ourselves from a toxic relationship. A face mask was something a football player wore. And spending time at home with your loved ones sounded charming. Rabbi Sachs argued, though, with words that ring true today. I think the simplest way of safeguarding the future you is to strengthen the future us in 3 dimensions: the us of relationship, the us of identity, and the us of responsibility. Our relationships, our identities, and our responsibilities to each other are inextricably intertwined. In other words, our future relies on each one of us. In this week's Torah portion, Pinchas, Moses was confronted with this lesson. Malcha, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah, better known as the daughters of Zelophehad, came to Moses and the Israelite leadership with a problem. Their father died, and since he had no son, the entire family's property and land is set to be dissolved. Give us a holding among our father's kinsmen, they demand. Moses takes the case to God, who decrees that their pleas are just, and they should receive their father's inheritance. It would have been easy for Moses to say, well, I'm really sorry for your loss, but since you don't have any brothers, we're just going to take your family's property. But instead, Moses and God lived out the values of facing an uncertain future without fear. God saw the us of relationship, that these daughters were worthy of receiving the same inheritance as if they were men. The people not like the Israelite leadership, namely these 5 brave women, helped the Torah, our law, and our community grow. And because of their insistence, their story is now part of the us of identity. It is now part of our shared narrative. This story reinforces the us of responsibility. God in the Israelite leadership was ultimately concerned for each one of its community members, including those on the margins of society, those most at risk. And because of this story, their future, us, was strengthened. Today, we are learning more and more about how simple actions we take can literally keep us all alive. We wish we could all pray together in person on this beautiful courtyard. We wish we didn't need to use these plexiglass dividers. We wish we could hold each other close, but we cannot. Our lives depend on it. Yes, mask wearing and social distancing and sanitizing after every encounter is inconvenient. But we must be like the daughters of Zelophehad, brave enough to take a stand for what's right, so that we all may receive our inheritance, the chance to be whole again. Ending the plagues of our day will take time, fortitude, and most of all, the ability of us all to work as individuals toward our collective goals. Our future relies on each one of us. Shabbat shalom.
Good evening. I'm Dan Jones, and I have the honor to serve on the Beth Israel Board of Directors. On behalf of the board, clergy, and staff, I want to welcome you and thank you for attending this evening's service. I want to echo Kim Carnot's message of welcome last week to our new senior rabbi. Rabbi Nevarez, his wife Nicole, and their children Ethan and Sophie have finished their epic cross-country adventure to reach their new chosen home of San Diego, and most importantly, Congregation Beth Israel. Tonight, I'm privileged to get to witness in person our new complete clergy team as they work together to bring us Friday night services. Even with social distancing and plexiglass barriers, the connection between the 3 of them is undeniable. I look forward to the day when all of you can experience them live and in person. With the ever-evolving world we live in, the timeline for in-person experiences here on campus at Beth Israel remains a moving target. The staff, clergy, and lay leadership, along with our trusted medical professionals from within our community, are closely monitoring this developing situation. In the meantime, the professional staff of Beth Israel continue to keep our campus beautiful, clean, and most of all, safe. While we cannot yet give a definite answer on when our campus will be open again for in-person worship, I want to assure you that when that moment comes, Beth Israel will be ready for it. If you're a newcomer to our community and you would like to get more information about our Beth Israel family, a great place to start is our website, cbisd.org. Take care of each other, and Shabbat Shalom.
As we begin to conclude our service this evening, I invite you, if you're able, to please rise as we join together in singing the Arlene.
Aleinu shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת תקומה ליוצר בראשית, שלא שנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We turn our thoughts to those who are no longer with us, but those who continue to live on in our hearts and in our memories. In this time of Shiva, in this period, we recall Sue Ellen Bellet, sister of Jonathan and Gail Schwartz, aunt of Stephanie and Matt Leolkin, Allison Schwartz and Brandon Schwartz. We think of Minnie Price, aunt of Robert and Allison Price. Robin Singer, sister of Maya Cluley and Lori Singer, daughter of Carol Singer. In the Shloshim, we recall Sandra Albers, Bill Fox, B. Mirman, Janet Lynn Shiraga, and Jane Shore. And in this upcoming week, our congregational community recalls the art sites of Seymour Aberley, Phyllis Adler, Miriam Album, John Antical, Marion Baumgarten, Faye Berman, Irving Burson, Robert Blank, Sidney Brown, Edwin Brummer, Margaret Butner, David Cantor, Lillian Chapman, Bella Coblins, Charles Cohen, Molly Slavin Cole, Joan Dalton, Jack Drucker, Mark Eisenberg, Melvin Fields, Stephen Fine, Leon Frank, Samuel H. Fuhrer, Edna Gardner, Sophie Gass, Anne Gallanterri, Trude Gittler, Clarice Goldfarb, Rita Golding, Mary Gordon, Jay Gould, Esther Graff, Arthur Greenberg, Curtis F. Griffin, Sumner Gross, Rose Heller, Israel Hertzberg, Rachel Hertzberg, Norma Belson Honig, Emma Rose Jacobson, Manny Katz, Abe Katz, Howard Todd Cowder, Al Kaufman, Weston Kingsley, Bella B. Krasnick, Harry Kroll, Murray Lampert, Ralph Lang, Elmer Levin, Morton Liebert, Nathan Lyons, Marvin W. Marcus, Helen Marsh, Milton Mayper, Seymour Melser, Paul Merrill, Janet S. Meyer, Mortimer W. Meyer, Lawrence Miller, Marty Morris, Roland W. Monschnitz, Marshall Naiman, Jacob Nalvin, Virgil Newberry, Seymour Oakman, Joel Alsher, Seymour Perlman, Dora Plant, Helen Press, Justine Shanna Rappaport, Naftal Resnick, Sarah Richard, David Richmond, John Lewis Robbins, William Rose, Gustav Rosenberg, Helen Ross, Jean Rubenstein, Alvin Schreiber, Jesse Seidenworm, Lil Seidenworm, Yehuda Sherman, June Schiffman, Aaron Joshua Simons, Rose Snyder, Rose B. Stein, Deborah Steinberg, Marilyn Stern, Harvey Stewart, Robert Stone, Maurice Swimmer, Ruby Schweitzer, Sam Turman, Harry Ullman, Phyllis Van Higson, Michael Weinstein, Daniel Weiser, Charles Weiss, Eric Weiser, Elsie Wellish, Max Wender, Pauline Wender, Elizabeth Weiner, Merle Wilson, Harry Z, Rose Zemlich, and Emmanuel Zweig. For those names not mentioned, I invite you to share them in your hearts aloud. And perhaps say them aloud as we hold them collectively in our hearts as well. And as a congregation, as a community, we join in saying the ancient words of Kadisha Tom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitzgadal v'yitzgadash merabah, be'alma divrach chirutei, ve'emlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayeh l'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'v'zman kariv, ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitwamam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha brichu ba'ela mikol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav uyaseh shalom alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam levracha, may their memories ever continue to inspire and be for blessing as together we say, amen.
Oseh shalom, shalom b'roma, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom, shalom b'roma,
Shabbat Shalom.